Okay, so today this is going to be pretty much a divert from my normal content with teasing the spirits, Red, Spider, and Seth. But I'm gonna go into a bit uh, more of a kind of a backstory as to how the whole interest in paranormal things started. It actually started many years ago. We're going to be journeying back to the early 2000s with this. But um, back when I was living in Jacksonville, Florida, I had a paranormal experience. And to this day, I can't really, I really can't make heads or tails as to, why on that particular night that event happened and why I was chosen for that. But nonetheless, it was an actual occurrence. Anyway, getting to the story, I wasn't a believer in ghosts or anything paranormal. By default, I was a gamer. I didn't really care anything really much about ghosts and things like that. And I was more concerned about whatever upcoming video game that was getting ready to come out. Didn't really care anything about ghosts. We were living in I don't know, I think an old house at the time, and it was a nice house, but there was something about that house that to this day I cannot I just there was something weird in that house and I felt this weird energy in that house and it would almost like follow me around. And I could not explain there were times that I was alone and I felt that something was right in front of me or right next to me. It was just like it was the weirdest feeling imaginable. I've never had that feeling before. Uh, but then one night, this might have been during the summer. Um, Room was dark. Of course, you sleep with the lights off and all that. And it was, a dark night, middle of summer. And I remember the room was cold. Like, it was just unusually cold for some odd reason that night. And um, I had episodes of sleep paralysis, by the way. I didn't mention that. And on that night, I had sleep paralysis. And this was something that was, I had more than once in that house. Sleep paralysis was just like, it would happen almost every other night. But that night, like it was very, it was strange, the strangest experience ever. Um, and I remember I was trying to get up and I couldn't move. And it was cold, and I didn't understand why it was so cold. I felt that the air conditioning was on. I mean, it was the middle of summer, so that's what I thought it might have been. But you know, I couldn't move. I couldn't get up, and like my mind was telling me, get up, get up. So finally, after fighting this paralysis, I was able to, kind of shake free of it. And I wake up, and right in front of me, there was this floating hand. It was draped right in front of me. It glowed in like a kind of like an eerie white, kind of like it had this, this weirdness to it. Um, his fingers were, of course, they were all draped down, and there was fabric tattered all around it. I didn't see any kind of uh, I guess a supernatural force that had, I guess the hand was attached to. I guess that didn't manifest, but it was a floating hand, and it had to belong to a woman. Uh, I don't know, from probably the Victorian era, and that's what I typed the whole story of the account about it. Um, but that's what I saw. And as quickly as that hand appeared, it was gone. And that was it. Um, I didn't really know. I mean, I was what, like maybe 14? I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 at the time. And I didn't really comprehend any of it. And I never really spoke about it. I just didn't really know, if I were to run to my mother and tell her. oh, there was a floating hand in my room, draped right in front of me. That's not something that you want to run and tell everybody. I just kept it to myself. Uh, Never even told my dad about it either. And years later, it's still burned in my mind, and I mess around with the AI art generator. And I tell her, hey, I just had a hunch that day. Like, I don't know. I was like, hey, I wonder if he could draw it. Like, maybe he could draw it really perfectly. So I described it to the AI, generator, and it drew it. And that's exactly how I remember it. Now, the image has a hand, kind of like in a waving, almost like the front part. But no, when I saw it, it was draped down. But that's pretty much about how it looked. So anyway, that was my paranormal experience. Um, I don't know why uh, I was chosen by this entity, but that night, it wanted me. So yeah, that was my experience. Wanted to share that, and that's where I guess the seed was planted for the paranormal interest. And I'm not bothered by things that bump in the night anymore after seeing that. After talking with various different spirits, different personality, I'm not afraid. I'm not bothered at all. So that was my backstory. How it all started, and yeah, hopefully, maybe some of you would share your experiences that you had. But anyway, thanks for listening, and see you in the next video I do.